Alright, club member tab. So we have a few things going on here. First off, we can look through the different members and through their different statuses, depending what you like. Mostly you're just going to look at view all, but when the club run is going on, if I'm online and I'm helping somebody out, I always like to watch the declines, and I keep refreshing those to make sure that all the declines are just sorry your payment failed or credit card expired, that kind of thing. Also keep in mind, when you are processing, if your declines are just sorry your payment failed or credit card is expired, that's the best you can get. That is the best thing. If you're having issues like inventory or compliance, well, we shouldn't have those if we're doing all our due diligence ahead of time and making sure that we have plenty of inventory, etc. So the only issues we should have during club processing are your payment declined. That's an A++. That's as best as you can do. So again, mostly just view all. Now the steps in the timeline of what you want to do here are, first, you want to select members to add, and you only want to select yourself. Now by doing this, you're just going to put yourself into the package, and then later on we'll add all members. But first we're going to add ourselves to the package, and then we want to test your first email on yourself. So we're going to click the email, we're going to say club, we're going to do the first email, the wine club processing, and this is very important because in the email video you're going to see that this is the one that's going to have club blob as the auto-populating tag at the bottom. That's going to show them all their information, their billing, their shipping, the credit card information, and the default wines in their order. So they basically see everything that's in the season. And then we want to leave it at all active members because there's only one here, so that's fine. You don't have to worry about it. Don't add all members first and then try and test the email. If you do have any skip members that do not need to get this email, then go ahead and hit that check mark. Now, clicking send email doesn't send the email just yet. It actually goes to a review screen where you're going to see, okay, this is the email I want and this is the number I am expecting. So make sure you stop and take a look at this just to be safe that this is the email and this is the number of people you want to send it to, and then whenever you're ready, go ahead and send it. Now, once that email comes through, check and click through all the links. Make sure all the auto-populating tags are filled and everything looks good. Remember that anytime you do or send anything off that is customer facing, you test it on yourself first. Very important. I don't care what it is. Test it on yourself first. I've been doing this a long time. I've heard a lot of horror stories. So once you go ahead and you're like, okay, that email looks good, and I'm ready to send it to everybody, then you can add all members to the batch, and then go ahead and email all active members, and then everybody gets your first email. Great. Now when it comes time to doing club processing, we are going to want to make sure we test first. So I want you to go through and try and find at least one pickup and one ship customer. Now, what are we looking for? Great question. What we want to do is we want to spot check. We want to make sure there are no red wording or lettering up here, which would indicate that there's an issue that the system is having trying to put that order together. So we don't want to see any red lettering, which will tell us that there's a compliance or an inventory issue. So you got to look for that. Then just double check that all this information is correct. There's everything is discounting. Very important. Still happens to this day where people charge retail price. So that's why you're also looking in the package setup. So these are all little double checks. Get somebody else with a second set of eyes just to look through it and just make sure you haven't missed anything, because it's going to be a lot more work to refund people and then start over because now you've charged them twice, and people don't really like that. So make sure everything looks good. Make sure if it is shipping, if it is a shipping order, it has the shipping and the correct amount in there. The taxes are there if necessary. And then if it's a pickup, obviously no shipping should be populated. Since you're here, everything looks good, go ahead and process the order, and then it'll either say processed or it'll say declined if the card declines. And again, do at least one pickup and one ship just to make sure everything looks good, and then you can move on to order processing and that video. However, you will want to come back here to the club member tab, and you can then look through all the declines and double check that all those issues were just declined cards and expired cards, which is the best you can expect. But while we are here, we can go ahead and send them a new email. We can do club, and then we can do a declined card, and then we will send it to all the declined people that were in this batch. And of course, when we go to send, it'll tell you that you have X amount of declined people, and you just double check that number and you're all good. However, there is a spot where you can enable the system to automatically send out a declined email for you when that credit card declines. Now, this is all well and fine, except for the fact that here you will not be able to put in the auto-populating tag of credit card info, which would make this better. So generally what I recommend is don't do this. Don't have the system automatically send out that email. I want you to make your own email, and you're just going to keep it short and sweet. Hello, first name. We're trying to get this done for you. You're going to put the link in from the account from the web for the credit card, and then you put in this auto-populating tag credit card info, which will only work from club processing, which is why we're doing that there. Now, the reason for this is that we are going to speed up that conversation. So if we use this email, possibly they will go in and log into their account and update their card. If they don't, then they're going to ask you, hey, what's the card on file? Because most people don't remember which card it is. And then you have to tell them. And then they have to get back to you, or then they have to go in, log in. Well, by doing it the other way, you're speeding up the process, and you're already telling them which card, so that when they go to log in, they already have an idea and they're ready, and it speeds up that process by at least a couple of points of communication. So that also takes more work off of you by putting the onus on the customer. They're doing more of that work, and you don't have all this back and forth, and that will speed up the whole process and the ease for everybody. So it's up to you. You can do it either way, but you can either allow the system to send out the declines for you, or you can go ahead and manually send them out after you do club processing, the whole mass processing, then come back to the club member tab, and then you can send it out just to the declined people. All right. Next up, order processing.